If you want to know the best samurai or 100 sword build in the game, you are in the right place. With more than 100 hours of in-game experience, I went back to the drawing board and optimized my burst samurai build. A build that can deal a whopping 30 to 68k of burst damage and is capable of flashy, hard-hitting normal attacks, special weapon counters, and prioritizing heavy and sweep movement speed to deal as many hits as possible. The burst samurai build would not be possible without the cursed Masamune katana. It is easily one of the best 100 sword in the game with a whopping 1077 raw attack stats at plus 20 upgrade. With the use of Breath of Master, this katana will give you an S+ rating for both strength and dexterity, allowing the user to scale a huge amount of damage. To get the cursed Masamune, head to the Northern Watch Fort in Corroded Scar and buy this deadly katana from Jadwiga's minion stationed in this specific location. We do have a lot of skills to consider when using the Burst Samurai, but for our main skill slotted on the cursed Masamune, the Looming Slash is hands down the strongest skill in the game. This skill allows you to counter and nullify enemy attacks in a flash because it allows you to blink and close your gap on the enemy before pulling off a devastating upward slash that deals tons of damage. The Looming Slash is the key skill that allows you to burst down bosses because of its insanely fast animation, allowing you to deal at least 2 Looming Slashes, mostly in certain openings. Get the Looming Slash by going to the northeastern part of Undead Forest near the Riverside Church Ruins side dungeon. Follow the end of the road, which will lead you to a dead end to get the skill from a treasure chest. Another great offensive skill for this build is the Circulating Pulse, a very strong skill that only costs 2 Ichor points to deal 3 strong and quick slashes, which is perfect when dealing with regular mobs. Casting the skill further will allow you to perform follow-up attacks that can deal even more damage for just 2 Ichor points, allowing the user to also possibly knock down the enemy when the finisher of the skill lands. Get this awesome skill from a treasure chest in Corroded Scar near Forward Base 2. And I am showing the location on the screen right now. Aside from Circulating Pulse and Looming Slash, the Phantom Assault skill is hands down one of the best skills in the game, allowing you to blink and nullify enemy attacks and counter 2 quick sword slashes. And not to mention how long the distance this skill can cover when blinking. Get this combat forme in the Eastern Gatehouse Ruins located in Sunken City. From the entrance of the Gatehouse Ruins, enter the destroyed building on the right, where a cultist altar is located. Follow the stairs, and eventually follow the straightforward hallway, and it will lead you to the chest location to get the skill. The immense damage of the Burst Samurai would not be possible without the key buffs in this game, and the Overdrive buff will directly increase your raw damage for a long time. According to the skill description, this skill will last until the user gets hit, but I can totally see that the skill has a longer duration compared to the other damage boosting buff like Adrenaline for example, so it is limited. And this is yet another skill that you can get in Corroded Scar by buying it from a Jadwiga's minion stationed in Forward Base 2 in the past timeline. And of course, this build will not hit like an absolute freight train without the Sacrificial Edge buff. And if you are following the channel so far, I am the first one who featured this buff because of its insane added damage potential in exchange for the user's health per second. That 68k damage will not be possible without the Sacrificial Edge buff or even the 34k damage of the Blood River Blade. And the best thing in all of this is that you can easily get this broken buff by defeating the side boss in Plague Village Underground Facility in Undead Forest. And if you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. Or consider supporting us on Patreon or by becoming a channel member today. And I appreciate your support. This build is taking advantage of 2 weapons for more damage boosting buffs, and I'm using the Ancient Hunter Sword in this case because of the 7 conversion slot it provides, so I can slot my key buffs later on. And you can get this sword easily from Magmel's weapon shop and you are good to go. This weapon will only be used as a catalyst for our weapon buffs. And the Somatic Zeal is the 3rd buff in this build, allowing the user to have more dexterity and strength for more damage after casting, which is perfect for this build since our Cursed Masamune scales on strength and dexterity. But the 4th buff in this build is yet another broken damage boosting buff, which is the Blade Dance. The Blade Dance increases your damage every time you use your weapon directly on the enemy, regardless of whether it's a skill or a normal attack. The Burst Samurai build is designed to deal fast and multiple attacks in a short burst, so this skill is absolutely perfect for this build. I will show you the damage increments in every set of normal attacks we deal to enemies. With a fully buffed Burst Samurai, your first set of normal attacks deals a total of 10,882 damage, while the second set of attacks deal 12,815 in total, while 14,519 for the third set of attacks, and 16,225 for the fourth set of attacks, which is already the max tax for the Blade Dance. If you look closely, we do have an initial damage of 10,882 and 16,225 attack when the Blade Dance reaches its maximum damage boost. So that's a whopping 39 to 40% damage boost from the Blade Dance alone. For you to not get confused, just think of Blade Dance that it maxes its damage potential after dealing 4 sets of complete normal attack combos on enemies. In this specific setup, you are expecting an out-of-this-world 30k to 68k burst of damage with a fully buffed setup, which I will teach you how exactly you can do this in the how to play section of this guide. Well, getting this skill is pretty easy. Head to Sunken City, and in the northeast section of Jose's outpost, you can find a Jadwiga's minion stationed under a broken gas station. But use the minion as a landmark only, and near it is a broken structure that you can climb on to get the Blade Dance as an item loot. The Burst Samurai build is a pure samurai setup, so the Blood River blade is non-negotiable when it comes to our bequeath for Mei, which is hands down one of the best and coolest bequeath for Mei in the game. This sub-weapon will allow you to deal lightning-fast, hard-hitting EI strikes that deal tons of burst damage to targets, which matches the build's theme perfectly. But the caveat is, this weapon requires a little bit of skill to master. The idea of this weapon is that the longer you hold your EI jutsu or EI stance, the stronger the damage is. But there's actually a perfect time to release the EI strike, which you can easily determine with faint lights coming from the sword, kinda like the ones you are seeing from other games and anime. The Blood River blade has 2 levels of charges, and ideally, you would want to release the EI strike or draw the blade during its second feint of light to deal the most serious damage possible. You will be mastering the release window time of this weapon over time. And for you to have an idea how strong this weapon is, here's a quick damage showcase of the Blood River blade with full buffs in this specific setup. And yes, that's 34k damage for you, and I will show you later on how exactly you can do this. A little bit of spoiler warning in here, since I will be suggesting late game items from this point forward. You can pretty much use anything that has a high strength and dexterity stats, especially when in the early game. But since this is an endgame build, I'm using the hero Valentin S-Rank Blood Code just because it provides a whopping 33 strength and dexterity, while the code's added traits are just a bonus, allowing you to regen your HP after successful drain attacks. You will be getting this blood code after beating the Luna Rapace's boss, which is obviously who it is. While Noah's S-Rank blood code is also a great pickup because of the additional attack power boost it provides when dealing consecutive hits on enemies, which this build was designed for. Xenon is the perfect partner for this build because of the +2 strength and dexterity raw stats he provides. You will be enjoying another +1 to all stats when assimilating Xenon, which is the case as always. Noah is my second best choice for this build because of the lesser stamina consumption trait he provides. The less you consume stamina, the more attacks and dodge rolls you can do. And of course, the +2 dexterity bonus is a welcome addition. When it comes to jail pickup, it all boils down to personal preferences. But the bat is always my pickup in all of my builds. You can use the bat jail anytime you need Ichor points because of its good range. But the main kicker here is that the summoned bats linger on the target and drain Ichor from enemies at a specific interval. You can get the bat jail by just visiting the Confluence or lose time space after progressing through the main events in Bagmel Island. When it comes to the boosters, the one-handed sword mastery is highly suggested for the raw attack stat it provides when using one-handed swords, which is obviously the case for this build. You can easily get this blood code after mastering Lyle's D-Rank blood code and getting it as a reward from Lavinia's side quests. We need Ichor more than anything if we want to bring our targets down in a flash, so the Ichor Absorber is highly suggested. This booster will give you more Ichor when successfully landing a drain attack, and most of the time, It gives you a full gauge if you cast a drain attack on an enemy with a high bleed buildup meter already. Get this booster easily by making it in Magmel's crafting shop. And if you can remember, we are dealing with 4 to 5 buffs at a time to make this build work. So increasing each of these buffs durations is the bread and butter of this build. And the Forma Extender booster will help you achieve that goal. So get this awesome booster by mastering Xenon's A-Rank Blood Code and getting it as a reward from Lavinia's side quest. If you want to maximize the damage of your Blood River Blade, the Devotion booster is the answer to your prayers. This directly increases the damage of our EI strikes. And you will be getting this booster after mastering Jose the Blind Hero's D-Rank Blood Code from Lavinia as a reward. And lastly, the Blood Fueled Strike is hands down one of the best boosters for this build. What it does is, it increases the build's damage further on top of your existing buffs, giving the build even more firepower after landing a drain attack. Drain attacks are always a part of your combat rotations, so you will be getting immense value from this booster. And you will be getting the Blood Fueled Strike from the NPC Iris as an initial reward by unlocking her side quest in Magmel HQ. On top of that, the Umbral Shift is hands down the best defensive forme for this build, as it allows the user to strafe gracefully around the arena in exchange for 1 Ichor per use. And get this awesome forme from a chest in the Substation main dungeon in Sunken City, which is part of the main story, so you will never miss this location. The Burst Samurai can cause the highest damage with the use of buff stacking, the best weapons, the right boosters, and skill combination in the game. This build is perfect for those who want to reach the most serious damage and want to easily wipe out bosses and targets in the fastest time possible. If you want a high adrenaline, high risk, high reward gameplay, the Burst Samurai build is for you. Before you can hit 30k to 68k damage, you need to learn and understand the inner workings of this build. Before the battle starts, switch to your secondary weapon so you can cast Somatic Zeal and Blade Dance. Then switch to your Curse Masamune and cast Sacrificial Edge buff and Overdrive to have our staple main damage boosting buffs in this build. Then hit the enemy with 1 full set of normal attacks to increase the bleed buildup of the target and perform a drain attack. The drain attack will add another damage boosting buff in our build, and then cast 2 Looming Slashes and watch a whopping 27k damage unfold. Even if you hit the enemy once with Looming Slash, that's a huge 13k damage. What if you want to deal the most serious damage possible, I hear you asking, my dear viewer? The method remains the same. In this specific configuration, cast all of our key buffs in the build and make sure to deal full normal attack combinations 4 times. If fighting a boss, of course, you will still need to dodge, but make sure you can deal with 4 sets of normal attack combinations. I will give you an example here. Here comes the first set of normal attacks, dealing 10,882. The second set of attacks deals 12,815. The third set of attacks deals 14k damage. Then the fourth and last set of attacks will deal 16,225 damage. Dealing 4 sets of normal attack combinations will ensure that you will reach the full 40% damage buff of the Blade Dance. After pulling off 4 sets of normal attacks, cast a Drain attack to have an additional damage boost, and dump all of your Ichor by casting Looming Slashes, and this will allow you to deal a mind-blowing 68k damage in total, which is insane. Even in real combat scenarios, just hitting an enemy with 2 Looming Slashes will give you 34k damage, which is a lot. And keep in mind that as long as you have the key buffs and Ichor, you can pump out a huge amount of damage. But how can you pull this off on moving bosses, I hear you asking, my dear viewer? You are still required to dodge and do boss mechanics as mentioned, while you are trying to increase the damage stacks before pulling off big hitting Looming Slashes. If you are having a hard time maintaining or stacking 4 sets of normal attacks before pulling the big Looming Slash hits, then I suggest sticking to the Blade Dance single attack method, which is I will do a recap. When 1 normal set of attacks is enough to increase your damage multiplier from the Blade Dance, then cast a Drain attack for more damage, and then pull off at least 2 Looming Slashes to let you hit 27k, and it doesn't stop there. As long as your buffs are active, your succeeding Looming Slashes will continue to deal increasing damage over time. If you want to roleplay as Virgil on the Harding Hand and always want to pull off EI strikes, the method remains the same. Get your 4 main buffs active, the Somatic Zeal, Blade Dance, Sacrificial Edge, and Overdrive. hit the enemy with at least 4 sets of normal attacks, then cast a drain attack to replenish your Ichor and have the final damage buff. Then cast a full charge of Blood River Blade to deal a whopping 34k damage. But if you don't like maximizing the Blade Dance attacks by pulling off 4 sets of normal attack, just do 1 set of normal attack and the Blood River Blade will still hit a whopping 23k of damage. But what if you just started the game and want to have the perfect start possible? This video will teach you 24 essential tips to get you up to speed. So click on it and I will catch you on the next one.